Hi guys, this is my review on The Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Okay, so a few days ago when I began the book I said that I thought it would potentially be the book that would break my reading funk and would get me back into the swing of things and I'd appreciate YA a bit more. And I genuinely thought that for like the first 150-200 pages. I was sincerely enjoying the book. It was refreshing and I felt quite original and unique and I was just enjoying myself. It was quite a well-paced fantasy with a lot of mystery going on, and there were, I think, effective blends of mythology and a bit of a fairy tale bent every now and then. And it's set in Prague, which is a lovely place to be spending your time. And we have our protagonist, Karu, who's 17 years old and she's an art student and living on her own, and she's quite feisty and independent and whatnot, and she has brilliant blue hair and a close relationship with a friend. She's all on her own though, and she's feeling that there's something missing within her, and a lot of her life is unaccounted for. She doesn't have any memory of her parents or her origins outside of a fella named Brimstone, and Brimstone is a chimera. I pronounced that incorrectly. If you know your mythology, you know what they are. It's like an amalgamation of different animals and human kind of thing going on. And Karu lives this kind of double life as an art student, and she also runs errands for Brimstone, and he has a store that is kind of the portal between the human world and this elsewhere, which is this mystical, fantastical other place that Karu's never ventured into. And from Brimstone's store, Karu runs errands to the human world to collect teeth. And we never know what these teeth are used for, but that's what Brimstone needs to work his magic or whatever it is he's doing in his store. And her earliest memories are of Brimstone and his comrades and growing up in that shop, and he's essentially her guardian, like the parental figure. And I found him very endearing in his gruff, kind of taciturn way. I just really took to Brimstone. And so yeah, Karu doesn't know what her past and her history is, but that's what she knows and loves, even though the collecting of teeth can often be a really violent and gruesome and very unpleasant task, and the scenes where you see her on her errands and stuff towards the beginning of the book can be quite dark, and even though it's not an enjoyable thing to read about, I'm still appreciative of the fact that we got to go into those places, the shadier areas at times. And yeah, so everything was kicking along smoothly and I was really interested in what was going on and wanting to find out more, and then whoop, in came the romance. Now, I suspected it was going to happen, but I thought somehow it would, you know, keep up with the originality of everything else, and it wouldn't hit me with its predictability and its schmaltziness and its everything else, but it did. And we meet Akiva. I don't want to say what Akiva is. I think some blurbs might give the other mythological creatures who are in this book, it might tell you who they are, but I'm trying not to spoil things. Anywho, we meet him, and we know that he has some kind of role to play in what's going on, especially regarding Brimstone's store and things, and what the teeth are doing. But the second he comes into play, you know he's going to be the love interest, and his eyes are fixed on Karu, and he follows her because he is drawn to her, of course he is. And then their eyes meet, and even though a lot of shit's going down and there's violent goings on, you still feel this connection, and off goes their love story. And over the course of 24 hours, the word love is being used, there's kissing and whatnot going on, it's all going off. One day. One freaking day. And then we get a schmaltz load of backstory in, like, essentially the third act of the book. It is split up. I'm going to try and find where the examples are. But yeah, we get a lot of backstory towards the end, which didn't bother me in and of itself. I have nothing against backstory. I was still interested enough to want to know what the information was that was going to fill in the gaps, especially for Karu and her personality and her history. But the fact that the backstory had every bit as much schmaltzy, predictable, love at first sight, fated romance bullshit as the present day story had, I just couldn't care less. I really didn't give a shit. So this is an example of when they're kind of breaking stuff up. And it was fairly effective the way it was done, I felt. But it was it wasn't how it was creatively set up that bothered me. It was the content of the romance and how heavy-handed it became. And it was suddenly the central focus, and all the interesting stuff that I was really curious about from the beginning just flooded away, and we lost so many supporting characters, and I wanted to keep reading about them and hanging around them, and they were gone because all we cared about were the two, and I don't understand. And remember how I had my rant about fated couples and love at first sight? Well, this combined the two of them in one big happy glop of dribble, and then it just kept amping it up. And remember how I also said I hate the fated cycle of destiny thing where they're repeating stuff again, past lifetime crap. That was probably a spoiler, but it really doesn't matter. You're probably going to read this anyway, so, you know, don't let me to tell you. But everything that I loathed and vented about in that rant was in here, and I didn't think it would be. And I felt so disappointed and let down because I was enjoying myself, and then the romance had to come and shit on my fun, and I was so sad. Will I continue with this series? I probably will, because I'm hanging on to the very flimsy, very fragile hope being an important theme in the book. Not so important when the romance comes into it because I just lost interest, but it's still the central theme. And I'm clinging to the hope that maybe the future installments will bring back the elements that I was really enjoying and loving. Maybe. But for all I know, the second book will have a love triangle, because why not? Tick off all the things Renee hates in books and put them in there. I'm mad. I'm sad and I'm mad. I was having a good time, and there were still elements that I was enjoying in the latter half of the book, but the romance, it was so loud, and it was so over the top, and why are the books doing this to me? Is anyone else really physically mad and upset by this? I am. Oh, okay, so that said, I'm struggling with what to rate the book because, like I said, I really wanted to love it because I thought I thought I might get there, but no. So I'm going to be really generous and give it a 3.5 star rating. Probably should give it a 3, but for the first 150 pages, it deserved a 5-star rating, and then it just fell on its own tail. So, yeah, 3.5 stars. I do recommend it. I mean, I've seen plenty of very, very, very positive reviews by people I trust, so I think I am kind of on my own in this mindset, in this opinion. I know Becks, her review is excellent. I'll put that in the doobly-doo of my pants. She's on my side. But, yeah, I think we're, like, in the minority here, but I mean, people want to read it, so go ahead and read it. Let me know what you think. But yeah, 3.5 stars for The Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Lani Taylor.